Christians, I need you to stop embarrassing yourselves with your lack of knowledge. When this video posted, many of Christians, it's the end time. Y'all better get right with God. Look at what's happening. Matthew is demonstrating itself. I think they said Matthew 24 is demonstrating itself. Look at the web. Look at all these things that's happening in 2024 already, and the year just got started. It's a couple of things. First thing, that happened in 2023. It did not happen in 2024. 2023 is when that happened. The thing about rain in the desert that you may not understand is the fact that it actually rains in the desert. I cannot believe how many people were on that particular video talking about, I didn't know it rained in the desert. See, God is going to make the desert bloom. That sort of thing, because the Bible says that the desert will bloom again. Well, the desert it was talking about, first of all, was Israel. It wasn't talking about that desert. But if you understood anything about natural history, you would know that the Sahara Desert, the Sinai Peninsula, Saudi Arabia Peninsula, all of that goes through a 13-year cycle of green to desert, green to desert. It's cyclic. They knew it was cyclic. They had stories about when it was green. It's a natural process that repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself. And I want you to logically think about something. If it never rains in the desert, then the desert would not have any life in it, because there will be no water for any of the plants that do grow to grow, other than around oases or lakes and rivers. But even those lakes and rivers and oases would eventually dry up if it never rained. Here's the second thing that you need to understand. In this particular part of the world, in Saudi Arabia, they have a rainy season. Did you know that? They have a rainy season. From October to January is their rainy season. Now, most years it doesn't rain that much. But during that time frame, they could get a couple few inches of rain throughout the entire season. If you've ever been to a beach and you poured out a good amount of water, one of the things you'll notice is, if you're paying attention, one of the things you'll notice is that the sand doesn't absorb the water in the same fashion as it does it like here in Georgia. Sand is trillions upon trillions of tiny little granules that are loose. Not like the dirt outside that's compacted, but it's loose. They don't have the tree roots and the plant roots that would hold the water, absorb the water, and hold the land together. No, it's sand. Those little granules will easily be moved. If a large enough rainstorm happened, they will easily be moved. According to some of the environmentalists in Saudi Arabia, they predicted that prior to 1965, 1941, that they had over 65 major flood events that occurred. Since 1941, they have had, and I might be getting the dates wrong, it might be 1965, I think in 1941 there was a massive flood event. So prior to 1965, they've had like 65 or 90 major flood events. Since 1965, they've had about 10, 12 major flood events that's happened in Saudi Arabia. These floods is something that just happens every 7, 10, 15 years. They go through this. The land is very flat. Like when I went through the Suez Canal, or when I went to Mecca, the land is relatively flat. It's relatively sandy. It's easy to flood. It's like right there, either at or below sea level. So anytime if they had a normal rainstorm like we have here in Georgia, it would flood that area. And since the sand can move so easily, it becomes a river of sand and water. It's not your God. It's not revelations. It's a natural occurring event. Stop making everything to fit your book, because it doesn't fit your book. And without understanding the repetitive cycle of nature, you make yourself look foolish. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.